I promise you're still going to have an amazing time. You're still going to
real life projects. So
everyone. Welcome back from the lunch break. So now we're going into another panel session, which is going to be moderated by Ms. Habiba A. Waziri. We're going to be discussing tech for global resilience, challenges and innovation. Tech for global resilience, challenges and innovation. Ms. Habiba Waziri is the managing director at BGR Consulting. She helps Africa-based startups and organizations develop and nurture the skills needed in tomorrow's leaders. Through her firm, BGR Consulting, they implement human capital, They implement human capital development programs and business growth strategies across Africa. She is passionate about corporate culture, capacity building, processes, and technologies in the workspace, while sharing her expertise on panels, keynotes, and workshops on local and global stages. Please let's make welcome Ms. Habiba Waziri with a round of applause as she comes on stage now. Thank you. Please, we can do better than that. Thank you. Thank you.
What's your name? Well done, Jessica. Let's give a round of applause to Jessica, guys. She's been trying to carry this event along since yesterday. Well done. You can take my picture away now. Thank you very much. So I would love to call my panelists on stage. First will be Mr. Elliott, Group Head E-Business and Digital Banking of Providus Bank. He's an alumnus of Lagos Business School, and he leads the e-business and digital banking group at Providus Bank. With over 15 years of experience, he's a payment industry expert, customer acquisition, payments collection. He's a go-getter and a rooted leader, an active mentor. He networks and volunteers to address diverse payment methods. Mr. Elliott, where are you? Come on, guys. I need you guys to cheer on my panelists. We're not going to be like yesterday. You can choose anywhere. Next, we're going to call Mr. Etudai Abmalik, Regional Underwriter, Micro Property and Liability Underwriting at Leadway Assurance. Mr. Abmalik is an accomplished insurance professional with 8 years of experience. He started as a post-loss adjuster at the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. He currently leads a team at Leadway Assurance. He excels in parametric insurances, product development, credit risk analysis, and he holds a Bachelor of Technology in Applied Geophysics at the Federal University of Technology in Akure. Next, we're going to call Mr. Olumide Badewole, Head of Business at CredPal. Mr. Olumide is a seasoned risk management professional with a decade of experience, and he currently spearheads intelligence, risk management, and corporate governance. He has a diverse background, including roles at AB InBev as Business Development Analyst, Creditville Group, and he's also a Senior Risk Analyst. His prior experience at Resort Savings and Loans, he brings a wealth of experience in business management, development, and he... Wait, am I reading the same thing? Am I reading the same thing? Did anyone catch that? You caught it? Clap for yourself if you caught it. You got the rest of you, shame on you. Shame on you because you weren't listening. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to start all over again. We're having a little technical glitch, but I'm going to still invite Mr. Abdulmalik on stage, Mr. Olumide on stage, and then I'm going to do a proper introduction for him. Please welcome him on stage. I'm also going to invite Mr. Sula Bello, VP Product and Innovation at ThriveAgric. Oh, look at these people. They're clapping for their own. We need to clap for our own then. Thank you, guys. How are we feeling with that mess up of an introduction? We good? Testing, testing. Everybody's good. One at a time then. Let's start with Mr. Olumide. Okay? So CredPal is described as a revolutionary credit solution geared towards providing seamless credit for businesses and individuals across developing economies. Your first question is, as head of business of a financial institution with a focus on savings and credit, how has technology played a role in expanding your institution's reach and impact directly targeted at the ecosystem?
Thank you very much. As you've rightly said, CredPal is one of the foremost fintechs providing credit solutions in Nigeria and also out of Nigeria. One of the things that we've focused on and that has worked so much for us is data. Let me just take you guys back to the times when you would have to wait for 6 months to develop a banking relationship, run your account before you can access credit. The reason why banks had to do that was because data was not available for such people. And one of the things that we've been able to achieve, that's CredPal and other fintechs, is that we've been able to improve access to data, and we've also been able to improve how data is interpreted. One of the examples is our proprietary decision engine that we built in 2018. We built a decision engine that could decide if a user is eligible for credit in a matter of 60 seconds. And over time, we've improved that. I'm working directly on that. So in the next couple of months, you'll probably be able to access credit on your CredPal app in a matter of seconds, tops 10 seconds. And that is because we've been able to access the right amount of data, and we've been able to interpret such data. So enough about data. Now looking at the commercial part, business planning and performance is something that has not been, that a lot of emphasis has not been laid on in recent time. And it's the reason why a lot of businesses struggle to achieve their results. One of the things that we've paid attention to is our numbers. We sleep with our numbers, we wake with our numbers. There is no day that we don't look at our numbers. And it's very important for everybody to really note the fact that you can't disappear from point A to point B. You have to put in a couple of strategies to make that work. So technology in itself is not some magic wand that you just wave and you just have 1 million customers at your reach. It is something that you have to combine a lot of data to harness. And having said that, the final, of course, piece of the puzzle is strategic partnerships and collaborations. Yes, at CredPal, we'd like to develop a lot of proprietary solutions just to power all of our payment, credit, and savings products. But at the same time, we still collaborate with different fintechs. An example is the likes of PNGME and Mono, MBS, and the rest of those guys. Those guys are really important to the space because they are data aggregators, and they make it easy for us to access data. In terms of strategic partnerships, the thing about users generally, or consumers generally, is that they have this sentiment around fulfillment. So if you make them remember something that you were able to do for them yesterday, they will probably come back to you today. I hope I'm correct. And one of the things that we've been able to achieve, having that in mind, is we've been able to harness all of the customers of our strategic partners. And we've been able to provide real-time credit solutions, payment solutions, saving solutions to enable them achieve their dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Olumide. Riding off that question, Sula, how do you think, you lead the innovation team at ThriveAgric, right? And Olumide talked about access to data, getting access to credit data in a matter of seconds. That's huge for Nigeria. That's huge for the continent. And obviously, anything commercial means numbers. So how has innovation, has ThriveAgric, and integration of data as well, how has it helped you get to the point where you were? Because I remember your story from when you started, how you were crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, and now you've locked out the public. So talk to us about innovation, talk to us about data, and talk to us about your growth.
All right, thank you very much. Well, picking back on what my colleague from CapFile said, yes, innovation is key to breaking barriers. Right from the very early days with Thrive, there was the COVID-19 crisis that really affected projected outcomes, and we essentially had to unlock better value chains. We had to look inwards, look at more sustainable business models and innovate our ways around it. So where does data actually came to this? To be able to be more efficient, be more, get essentially, production, and be a better person nowadays. It actually requires, accumulating data, utilizing technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, leveraging on platforms, leveraging on partnerships, and being able to take these out there. So I'll cite an example for us was that we at Thrive, we had a database of the farmers we worked with. We were able to, link financial services to what we do. And this was something that, was key information that we could, present to stakeholders, government, private sector. So we didn't essentially have to start explaining ourselves to, individuals, who brought in their 10,000, 5,000. So we could talk to multilateral organizations who could just essentially look through data and, have access to this data portal, see how things get updated, so they could see a flow around, the end-to-end process of how things essentially work and how, it increases yield or, increases capacity. That's essentially what is gotten us here. I think on the last bit, I just like also to put in was that collaboration is quite key. Even as innovators or as a tech outfit, you do not have it all. You always have to leverage on industry partners. And as you can see, a lot of them around here. These are people who have enabled us in one way or the other. These are like subject matters or rather key experts in their subject areas. So we leveraged the capacities they had, and that's what has essentially got us where we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Sula. So my question is now to Mr. Etsude. Hi, how are you? Obviously, we're at ThriveAgric, and there's a lot of conversations about the sector in particular. I know Leadway Assurance is known primarily for insurance products on life, accommodation, education, travel, auto. But I'm pretty sure that you've gone into the agricultural sector, right? So talk to us about the use of technology, right off the answers as well that have been given about data. Talk about collaboration. What are partnerships looking like for you, and what is your growth? What does it look like?
All right, thank you. Technology has played a pivotal role in enhancing agricultural insurance, starting from satellite imagery, remote sensing, using automated weather station to get accurate and real-time weather data, amount of rainfall, presence of drought, day length, sunshine, temperature, and all weather elements. So what it has done is that it has helped insurance companies to onboard more farmers than before. For example, I've insured a certain group of farmers in Anambra State for the past 3 years, and I've never visited the farm. All right. So this was possible because I could log in the GPS coordinates of these farms and see what is happening in the farm. All right, the normalized differential vegetation index, I could see if there is presence of flood, I could see the amount of soil moisture present in that region. So this helped to foster easy way of, onboarding these farmers to make sure that their farm is protected. All right. Recently, we started the index-based livestock insurance, looking at herders, pastoralists, people that are moving from one place to another. I know that part of the issue that we face in the country is the vegetation that is available, or the fodder that is available for this livestock to feed on, varies according to region. All right. So in January, the herdsman in Zamfara want to move all the way down to the south, to be able to feed the animals. All right. So technology has helped us to map these areas and give them information on good grazing routes, so that in most cases you don't have to go that far. All right. And ThriveAgric has been, I want to say, at ThriveAgric Insurance, they've been our single biggest customer, because they insure every of their agri project, the primary production, and everything across the value chain. They are the singular entity that have insured up to 380 warehouses with us in Leadway. That's post-harvest. Part of the issue that we face is not just the primary production. The amount of produce that we lose to hazards and perils post-harvest is a lot. So they make sure that whatever comes out of the farm is protected until it gets to the final consumer. All right, so this is how we have collaborated at Leadway with private sector like ThriveAgric. We have done something with Polar. They are a consultant on area index insurance, parametric insurance, because we note that if I insure 100,000 farmers and 3,000 of them decide to report a claim, can I visit all of them in 1 month? It is very impossible. All right, so it is out of technology that we've been able to develop a product to group the farmers together into agroecological zone, people that have microclimates that is similar, so that the end result is, after harvest, I can judge that these farmers in this area did well, these ones in this area did not do well, so they deserve a payout. So we are able to aggregate and group them together to give them this insurance product. So that's how technology has really helped a lot in fostering agri insurance. Thank you.
Thank you. In the face of a global and economic crisis, you already know who I'm coming to next. Elliot, you work with Providence Bank, and from an outsider's perspective, Providence Bank is a tech nerd's dream. It's a dream bank to work with, right? But my question is, economic recovery is crucial, for growth, for global resilience. And how has technology expedited and facilitated those recovery efforts? Talk to us about in Nigeria. You can also give us some examples. There's so many people here that are open to learning and are also looking at banks where they can't carry out businesses without. So talk to us about that.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. And thank you to ThriveAgric for creating this platform and having us to deliberate around tech-driven innovations. Thank you so much. To ride on what Sula and the insurance man said, technology has actually done a lot. And I remember, I'm going to be a bit practical to get into illustrations. I remember when ThriveAgric came to us some years back, and we got a notification that they would like to work with a bank. And imagining coming to a Providence Bank, and we looked at, because then at that time we were very nimble, and when you have a nimble organization, decision making is very fast. And to make that decision is going to ride on data. And engaging them, and they were being able to give us analysis around what he said. We have this, we're going to do this, we have these numbers, we're going to look at it. And also, as a tech-driven bank, when we also started, it was at that time of recovering our financial sector. fintech were just coming up. I call them tech, I don't call them fintech. Because if you look at the fintech, fin in front of it is financial. So they are good in tech. And they came to us, we want to do this, we are looking to capture this market, we want to develop this solution, we want to look at it. But because we, as a bank, we agree to nurture businesses, to grow with businesses. And growing with them means we need to endure and ride on their data. We look at the data and we say we can support this. And how else can we develop piggy bank on what they have done? And that really helped. So data, analyzing data is part of what drives technology. Because if you are going to develop any product, or you are going to, like what a lady during the TAP program mentioned, that out there in the community, she was able to develop, but there was nobody to go to get feedback around what she has done, and anytime she would drop it. But in the community where she has people that she can run to, write on the data, give her information on how to move forward, has really helped. So that data, we analyzed and we looked at, we could support this organization, and then we developed solutions around them. When Providence Bank started, we started with a small bank, a small branch on Adetokunbo Ademola in Lagos and Abuja. And we looked at how can we compete with existing banks, notable banks, that have over 400, 500 branches everywhere, that are serving all our customers. We are going to take their customer. What are we going to sell to this customer? Even then, when we were like, the question was, what are you bringing on the table? What is new that you are going to do? So we carve a niche for ourselves, and we look into the tech space, that there's this economy that is coming up. And how do you support this economy? You can only support this economy. The data was not there. But from the payments there, what we see, we said, it's going to grow. Let's support this innovation. And if you remember, starting technology, it was mobile money and super agents. Agency banking was everywhere, mobile money. There was no linking between them. Then now you see that some banks that led mobile money, they were not thriving as when fintech came into the space. Because fintechs were able to go into the field, engage the market, understand the needs of the people, and develop solutions. So we saw that, and we came back, we need to serve this community. And how do we serve this community? We started with that analysis around open banking. Today we have open banking regulation. But then, it was not there. But we looked at it that the only way to reach the places that we want to get to, for someone in the southeast, south, in the north, to know Providence Bank, is to piggy bank on what the fintech is doing. And the only way is to extend technological services to them. So we open up our channels around APIs, around services that will enable them. Before you open an account, you have to go to a bank. You even need to they need to see you. But now you can sit anywhere here now and open an account. It was due to an extension of APIs, services that will enable. There was a policy that came out yesterday that was in circulation, that now, before you even open a tier 1 account, you must write on BVN and NIN. Now you have services. When BVN started, there was no API around it. But we turned it around even before the industry was ready. We started giving the API to people on the field to open accounts. So technology has really helped a lot, has taken financial services to the excluded, to open accounts, do payments, because if I should go into details of what has happened around that, you can see, and that is why a ThriveAgric starting could onboard farmers, open account for them, give them the banking product that will enable them to do their services, and then with the banking product, they could make payment, they could spend and buy agri-produce. So technology has really helped. And when you talk in terms of economic recovery, at the aftermath of a global crisis, we all saw what happened during COVID. So many companies were not prepared, they were not ready. But the few companies that were ready, they were technologically driven at that time. It may not be as it is now, but they were able to scale their processes. So many businesses made fortune because they were ready. That was technology driving, recovering the economy after that pandemic. And then it has changed over and over. We don't even need to talk too far. I can actually mention, permit me. We don't need to talk too far. We saw what happened in January. It's this year, the cash crunch. There was no cash. People couldn't pay. We were struggling. The rails for payment was actually so slow because when there was no cash, people moved to payment platforms. We saw the emergence of wallet services. we saw the emergence of new fintech trying to solve these solutions. The people you saw now that are doing so well, permit me to mention their name, the OPay of this world, the Money Point of this world, that are everywhere, they were able to piggy bank on the technology they have to solve that problem at that time. And now you can see it, everybody is going in that direction. So technology has actually really helped in different facets of the economy to recover after a crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Elliot. There's always an intersection between financial, technology, and social impact. So my question is for Olumide. What strategies are in place to address those potential risks? And if you can also give us examples, and if there are any companies here that you can give them a know-how or direction, that would also be great. Because it's always, social impact also, please try your best not to be vague, because, it's something like climate change. It's so up in the air. So try to break it down as simple as possible, where I'm learning, and I also want people here to learn as well.
Yeah, so the first thing that we really need to examine very carefully is the art of inclusion. Inclusion, as it were today, on so many fronts, could look simple and could look complicated on other fronts. It's easy to include, quite easy, not very easy, to include the unbanked and provide savings products, payment products to them. But how about credit? Credit is one of the most difficult services that you can provide to the unbanked because you stand at the risk of incurring heavy losses if you don't do that right. But one thing I used to say, and one thing that has worked for us at PredPal, and for me, because I've been managing risk for quite some time, is give me data and I'll do business. And that is where inclusion comes in. So we need to move further ahead towards enabling these societies to provide their data. What am I saying? It's not enough to give the average tomato seller a POS. She probably has some small sales book somewhere that she puts, I sold 5 stands of tomato in the morning, and I sold it at this amount. I bought it for this amount. This is my transportation cost, and all of that. But we need to look at how we could partner with this sector of the society such that they're able to provide this data to companies that are interested in giving credit. What we've noticed over time is just providing payment information, bank statement is really not enough to support these societies. And for us to have the desired impact, we need to look at inclusion from a whole new angle. The second thing I'm going to talk about is education. The reason why they are unbanked is do I go ahead? Okay. So please confirm that you can hear me. Good. So the reason why they are unbanked is because there's so much risk associated with that particular sector. And that risk includes the risk of the impact of ignorance. And companies have paid dearly for investing in ignorance for the longest time. Banks, fintechs, everybody has had their fair share of that kind of bad investment. It does not mean it's impossible to deal with this society, because we really need to have that conversation and solve these problems. But we need to invest a lot in education. I believe the way it's done in the agricultural sector today is through agricultural extension. But we need to find a way to get through to these end users, these societies, and educate them on how to make healthy decisions, how to present their data. One of the things I did while I was at AB InBev was that I worked as business analyst at AB InBev for a while, and I had to do a quote analysis of a number of distributors. One of the things that stood out for those distributors was the fact that it was almost impossible for their sales reps, their relationship managers, to convince them to make any important decision. Those guys will go, Oga, I have a target. Please buy 5,000 hectoliters of this product this month. And the guy will say, I can't sell it, so I can't buy it. And then the next question is, how much money am I going to make, and over what period of time am I going to make that money? And then the guy will say, but you have your trading account, statement. The guy will say, I can't read it, I don't understand it. And it's very true. A lot of these guys, when we put all of these statements together, they don't know how to make sense of those statements. And I just felt it was important to bring out all of the important information that would speak directly to their sixth sense and enable them make such decisions. So one of the things I did was, okay, this is your trading account. But out of your trading account, last month, you made this amount, you saved this amount just on logistics. Just because you were able to get your team to... Everybody just calm down. I believe it's just...
Just in case there's a fire, exit is on your back.
Yes.
And then there's also another fire exit on the right-hand side of the stage. So if you have to walk out, please don't run out. Just leave whatever you have inside the building and just walk out calmly. The ushers will be there to help you. Okay? Go ahead.
Yes, so what was I saying? Logistics, yeah. Logistics. Yeah, so I told them, okay, for the fact that you were able to organize your team to offload and backload products within this number of hours, you saved this amount on logistics. It's in your bank statement, or it's in your trading account statement. And just because you bought this particular volume of this product, you made this amount on tactical discounts. And just because you did not meet the particular threshold on this product, you lost this amount on tactical discounts. So it was quite explanatory. Then it wasn't all of the debit, the receiver, credit, the giver, and all of those financial jargon. And then they were able to, okay, next month, I won't miss this one. Can I save more?
Let's take a 2-minute break.
Okay.
Let's take a 2-minute break. Please walk outside of the building. Everyone, please walk outside of the building. Please try your best not to run